Typography or font, as you may know, plays a huge role in creating a visual brand. Now, certain fonts can portray a more modern or contemporary feel, and other fonts may portray an older or vintage feel. Depending on what you pick, this can influence how your visual brand is portrayed. This is where it's really important to understand who your target customer is through creating that customer avatar and pinpointing who your target customer is. For example, if your target customer is from the older demographic, so over 70 years of age, you'd need to consider what font you use because they may find it difficult to read on screen if it is too small. So you need to also consider the size of the font that you use on your website. So if they are of an older demographic, then you would use a size 16 or size 18 for reading the body font instead of a size 14. Now there are 4 different types of fonts, as you can see here. The first one is called serif, and serif means basically that they have feet. So here you can see the little extensions around it which are called feet. This is considered a more traditional type of font. It's quite an easy font to read, so it's very good for reading long paragraphs such as newsletters, blogs. The next font is called sans serif, and it's considered a more contemporary font. The sans serif basically means that it doesn't have feet on it. So as you can see, it's quite straight at the bottom. There's no little flicky feet. This is also another good font to use in large paragraphs, in body of text, newsletters, blog posts, those sorts of things. Then we move down to script, which is more of a cursive and handwritten font. You know, this is considered quite vintage, wanderlust and dreamlike. So it's a great font to use for headings and titles or logo scripts, but you would not use this font for the body or long paragraphs because it's not an easy font to read for a long period of time. So good for logos or titles. The display font, again similar to script, it's not a font that you want to use in body or long paragraph of font. It's quite decorative and you would usually use it within a logo or again with titles such as titling of posters or flyers, those sorts of things. So these are the 4 types of fonts, and you need to consider how they go together when creating your font for your website. It's good to create contrast. So when we go and look at designing a logo, you would never use the same font for your logo as you would in the body of your text. You want your logo to stand out from your font, so you never generally use the same font. Again, with contrast, it's good to use a different size font or different style of font for the title of your text, and then a different font or size for the body of your text. So here are some examples of good combinations of putting fonts together. So at the top here, you can see that this is a bold, large sans serif font, so nice and modern and contemporary and easy to read, so great for a title or heading of a paragraph. Underneath for the subheading is the serif, so it has the little feet, and the contrast here is great. It's a little bit smaller, but still it's quite easy to read. And then further down in the body of the font, you have the serif font again, which is the same one as this, just a smaller size. So it's important to make sure that your size is large enough for people to read on websites. Generally, size 14 is a good body size font. Another example is here. So this is more of a display font as used as the title, with again the title font but smaller size, and then underneath it's a serif body font. This one's a great example of using sans serif throughout the whole of your website. It adds a really nice clean design. So your nice simple heading with the sans serif, a thicker subheading with a sans serif, and then again the font is also sans serif in a smaller size. So this is a really great combination if you're creating a really contemporary designer looking page. And here's another example of the use of just sans serif throughout. So these are some examples of fonts and typographies that you want to consider when building your website. So you will have headings and subheadings and body on your website. So you need to consider the contrast of the headings, the subheadings, and the paragraphs, and also consider the contrast between your logo and these fonts as well. You don't want them to be